So I wanted to talk a little bit. This is kind of extending the Sora conversation even more, but it touches on something that we also saw with like Google VO3. Once people started really kind of getting into that and seeing what's possible, they started creating these viral social media clips. And those social media clips often were trying to reflect something that was going on in real society. Like I think at that point, one of the ones that we talked about was somebody who was doing essentially like a vlog of a National Guard serviceman as they were in LA during some of the stuff there when they were first sent.
Yeah.
We're seeing the equivalent of that now with Sora and the National Guard and the military being sent to Portland. And similarly, people are seeing those on TikTok and they're believing that they're real.
Man.
And so I wanted to show you one, and then we can talk about like the effect of it and some of the interesting things that go with that.
All this AI stuff could not have come out at a more sociopolitically worse time. Man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me share my screen here, make sure that I'm getting the right one. There we go. So anybody that's been seeing some of the news has seen that like when Portland does demonstrations, they do demonstrations kind of in a party atmosphere a lot of the time. And so you have people dressed up in these big inflatable costumes. And one of those in real life was this person dressed in a frog inflatable.
Yeah.
And they walked up to the National Guardsmen and people, and they were basically just egging them on, but they were like dry humping the air in the frog uniform.
Yeah, just being ridiculous.
Which was really funny to see. But then somebody had took the idea of that and they went to Sora, and there's all these memes now of people in these inflatables in Portland doing things both kind and unkind to the National Guard that are there. So here's one.
Easy there.
Just the flower, man.
All right.
Peaceful.
Got it.
So that was it.
Yeah, the frog walks up and gingerly places a flower onto the gun of this National Guardsman. And this is, man, Sora's videos are really, really believable. It does not look like AI. Like, the only thing is that the inflatable has an opening, which wouldn't be possible. But
right. Yeah. But you also could say that maybe there's a screen there that for some reason just didn't come across. I'm trying to capture and pause on the very last part because this is what you see people comment on. So the flower gets placed, and then like you see this little smile from the guardsman.
Yeah.
There. His like mouth turns up and he acknowledges it. And so that starts to go really crazy in the comments, right? I like the part where he actually broke character and actually smiled the acceptance of some sort of peace. Some people are saying, pretty sure this is AI. You can absolutely know this is AI because if you look at all at the video,
there is a Sora logo.
Yeah, there's a Sora watermark that is jumping around, which means this was created on the Sora platform. So absolutely, you know that it's AI, but a lot of them smile. Don't let these Karens blame it on AI.
Wow, somebody really commented that. Unbelievable.
Yep. And then some people are also just saying, no, he's just doing his job. They don't agree where they are, but they will absolutely follow the contract that they had signed. Other people still saying it's AI. He feels
bonita now.
The smile.
Okay.
Yep. His smile shows that humanity will win. Our National Guard troops do not want to be there.
Gosh.
Some other people talking about it being AI.
But there's...
but then others... Yeah, I mean, it's about... I think 60 to 70% of people that look like they believe it's true.
Yeah. And then there's also, you get people sort of in this middle zone where they're like, even if it's not true, the sentiment is something I agree with. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Somebody else saying this is de-escalation. We shouldn't be fighting each other. It's the people way higher than us that are making us all fight. Man. That's why I freaking love Portland. Keep it weird. I watched this 10 times just to see the smile at the end. It melted my heart. He approves of the peace. He reminds me of Kent State where they put flowers in the barrel of the gun. This is so sweet. I bet most of these guys do not want to be there.
Gosh, dude, this is depressing.
Yeah, that dude is trying so hard not to laugh. So, only the initiated understand that little Sora watermark, which is a big problem, right?
Yeah.
If you follow AI, you know that watermark means something because you know that Sora is a social media platform. If you don't follow AI, then that could be any platform.
Yeah. I mean, everything's littered with watermarks, right? We kind of all ignore them habitually anyway. Like, it's to the point that people use watermarked things as memes in various contexts.
Right.
Like, so yeah, you won't notice that if you're not aware of it. The video you just showed was not on Sora, right? That was someone had posted it.
No, that was
TikTok.
on TikTok. Yeah. And so anything created on an AI only platform will leak off that platform and onto other social media platforms.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why they put the watermark there in the first place, is so that if you download it and upload it to YouTube or TikTok, that people can trace that back and go, oh, that's a Sora video. So that's OpenAI trying to be transparent about it. But the problem is we don't have an aware population.
Yeah.
The other problem is, as I've just opened in this tab, is that we have a ton of Sora watermark removers right now. And they all work, to a certain degree. But I've used some that are actually really good right now. And so it's super easy just to remove that watermark entirely. So if I wanted to create a piece of disinformation, I could go to Sora, I could make a very believable video. I could then run that through a watermark remover, and then I could post that to TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or wherever. So that's overly easy to do.
I was just going to say it didn't take long. I'm not really surprised because, of course, it didn't take long. But like right away, people have just been making these tools, to take away the watermarks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anytime somebody puts a visible watermark on somebody, on something, other people want to remove that for both real reasons and for bad reasons, right?
Yeah.
If I'm making something creative, I don't want that tarnished by a watermark. If I'm creating something deceptive, I don't want that tarnished by a watermark. So it can live on both sides. The other interesting thing is, because OpenAI is wanting to be transparent, they did put that watermark there. The other thing that they did, and I'll share my screen one more time, is they embedded what's called a C2PA credential. And that is the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authority. We mentioned them a couple times. So
authenticity.
C2PA is, Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. This is a bit of metadata that can get added to any file that shows essentially where it was created and allow the tracking as things get changed, like in Photoshop and all that, because Adobe will maintain that chain of, essentially a change log within media that gets generated there. Not everything does, though. Sometimes you can make changes and you can accidentally keep the metadata that's there. Other times you can intentionally strip that out. Other times a vendor may make something that allows you to change a file, and then they might save it as a new clean file that then unintentionally removes any metadata. And so the fact that OpenAI is putting these C2PA credentials in, again, gives you the ability to detect that, but only if the person that is uploading that to TikTok or wherever, only if they're not intentionally trying to strip that out as well. So this helps a little bit, but it also isn't a full solve.
I mean, the tough thing with anything that exists only digitally is that kind of provenance, right? There is nothing that is, irascible is not the right word. What is there's nothing that is truly permanent that you cannot somehow change in software. It's just data. So like there's no perfect initiative that can fix this as far as I can think of. Yeah.
I just wanted to let listeners and viewers know, if you do want to check that out, you can go to c2pa.org, because if you got like a news crew that's creating information, then adding that C2PA credential from the very beginning can help that get tracked over time. But we also have to know that if I'm a bad actor, I could add a C2PA credential into something. So this helps with like crimes of convenience, or people that are merely curious that don't understand the technology and don't want to get deep into it. You can also go to verify.content-authenticity.org, and you can drag a file into that. So if you were to find a file online and want to know if there's a C2PA credential embedded in that, you can upload that there. Again, I've downloaded things straight from Sora and uploaded them to this, and it finds the credentials there. I've run those through other systems that will both intentionally strip out watermarks or unintentionally change things. Like if you wanted to add cool captions and you go to Descript to do that, Descript seems to accidentally remove the C2PA in this when you do the export. So know that that's a thing. All that to say, if you really, really want to get into this, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could look at to understand whether something may or may not be legitimate. And there's a really good article from the Global Investigative Journalism Network, and it's called A Reporter's Guide to Detecting AI-Generated Content. We don't have time to go through this whole thing, but it is good.
I poked through this as well, and they talked about, similar to the TED Talk we shared in our Discord. I don't remember if we shared it on the show, and I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head, but he talks about looking at
Hani Farid.
Hani Farid?
Yep.
He talks about looking at the Fourier transform of a generated image and looking at patterns in essentially the lowest levels of noise in there. That's a big piece of it. And that's referenced in this article too. Yeah. This is a very good one.
It is. Yeah, this one... we have to realize too that the state of the game will change over time. So a lot of some of these points that they point out kind of work for some of today's technology and yesterday's technology. What we see is that these models are improving so fast that even many of the AI detectors that were pretty good at detecting voice a couple months ago will come up and show that a voice is authentic if it's generated with a current tool, like 11 Labs version 3. Tends to come up as being legitimate in most of the detectors that I've tried. Even the Sora 2 audio, as weird as that sounds to our ears, that comes out as legit in most of the detectors.
Really? Interesting.
Actually, when I listen to a voice in VO3 from Google or a voice in Sora 2 from OpenAI, there's a distinctive character that I can hear in it. Like in VO2, there's this like strident... it's like almost a piercing hum that goes throughout it. It's hard to describe, but once you hear it, it's there forever. And then in VO2, there's like a crunchiness. It almost sounds like two voices merging together.
It is. In Sora, they have a really big problem with stereo phase coherence in the generated voices. It is. You can actually, not to give any tips to anyone trying to make it sound more believable, but if you cut it down to mono, either grab one channel or summing them both will sound weird, but if you grab one channel, it'll sound more just like noise reduction artifacts or like digital compression artifacts, because it is the stereo coherence is weird, and it creates that feeling of like two simultaneous voices because it's not perfectly aligning them essentially in the stereo field.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like there's kind of two voices at the same time, or somebody's trying to overcome a big frog in their throat sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's just like gravel in people's voice that don't have gravel. But it tends to show as legit in many of the detectors that I've run it through. So we're not going to go through all these, but this article lists 10 different things to potentially check, from looking at some of the online detectors to things like looking at when somebody's figure is too symmetrical or too perfect, when perfect becomes the tell, which is an interesting way of thinking about it. And there's a lot of detail for each of these checks that they tell you to look at. Also looking at perspective in the way that things should come together at their horizon point. That's something that Hani Farid talks about a lot.
Yeah.
And something that their tool, Hani's tool, Get Real, allows you to investigate. So that's really good.
They do mention too that a lot of the visual tells are things that will become outdated. And so like it's important to keep up to date on those. Yeah.
Yep. Pixel analysis, that's starting to get into some of the like the hot spots that are there. Let's see what else is here. Voice and audio artifacts. I think those are really going to start to go away over time. So that category 4 here, I think, starts to go to the wayside. Category 5, temporal and contextual logic, obviously.
Yeah. And again, like all of this is just the cat and mouse game. This is going to continue on and on as these systems get better and better at different things. This article is a very good entry point, though, into a lot of like detailed methods that you can use currently. It'd be interesting to see how long all of it holds up.
Yeah, I think it's all of this is a ticking time bomb, right? This is the arms race. They've got 6 is behavioral pattern recognition when AI gets humans wrong. This is something any disinformation artist is going to try to solve for, though. They're going to see the flaws in things, and then they're going to find creative ways to move your eye away from those. So it's good to know that those are there. These help people that are looking at things forensically, but they don't help the casual viewer.
Yeah.
Intuitive pattern recognition, obviously, does that feel like it lives up to the way the real world works or the way that real people work? And yeah, I had said 10 things. There's only 7 things here. So forgive me. You can make up those other 3 in your head.
Yeah,
Go
just
for it.
have AI generate the other 3.
Yeah, ask ChatGPT.
No,
It'll
but
be all good.
That is a really good resource. I'm glad that someone put that together, especially as newsrooms and like smaller journalistic outfits are struggling with the onslaught of generated content and news stories and everything.
Fun times.
Fun times indeed. And amidst all of this AI stuff, there's still the normal cybersecurity bad actors doing bad things. In our next segment, we're going to talk about a good old-fashioned data breach that just affected a lot of Discord users. Stick around.